Bitcoin, crypto, bouncing back today. It is a Saturday today, so we're actually seeing more price action right now versus a lot more other weekends. What could be happening with crypto? Is this the bottom? I think we're near a very possible bottom. We're going to be exploring the charts and I'll tell you guys why that is. Now, this is Bitcoin, the driver of this crypto market, and why you guys should be paying attention to Bitcoin is because when Bitcoin dumps, that is going to tank quite a bit of these altcoins here. So you want to be rooting for Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin has broken below this falling wedge pattern for the past couple of weeks. Breakdown target is going to be very steep if we actually go all the way down there. It's going to be close to 80,000. Price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. Okay, so very important to be paying attention to what Bitcoin does right now. We're going to be taking a look into a few altcoin setups later in this video, which will include Moodeng, which is the meme coin, ANKR network token, as well as PEAQ network token. See what's happening with some of these coins. Are they still in their bullish setups as I've talked about last time? Has anything changed? So very important to be sticking until later. And we're also going to be talking about a few pieces of news here. I'll give you guys my instant reaction to some headlines. We're also going to be taking a look into some viewer comments. I'll respond to your viewer comments verbally. So let's go ahead and dive into the Bitcoin chart first. Take a look into this. This is the weekly time frame. Very important to be paying attention to. Now, 3-day time frame. Let's zoom in now. Okay, 3-day time frame. I talked about a falling wedge pattern, which Bitcoin has broken down from. That is not looking good because that was a major bullish signal that looks like it's broken, right? However, I'm not going to take away this falling wedge yet because I am looking for if this thing actually breaks back into this pattern with the 3-day candle close, that would invalidate this breakdown, okay? So that's what I'm looking for. I am also looking for a potential hedge here to short Bitcoin because I am long on quite a bit of altcoins here. So I am looking to hedge against my longs in case this has more downside to go. And there is still potential for more downside, okay? Because for one, we still have this breakdown target going down to 80,000. Second is because I said that this weekly 50 SMA, which is back at 103,000 now, was not going to hold the price action alone. However, we are in this consolidation zone that ranges from about December of last year to about February of this year. That ranges anywhere from about 90,000 to about 110, okay? We are in that consolidation zone. So let's see if we get some support in that zone. I think likely, okay? So I think this is going to be, we're going to be in for some consolidation here, okay? So let's see what this does, okay? I am looking for a potential hedge. I'm looking for lower time frame confirmation as well, right? In case this thing breaks, in case this thing gets rejected and comes down more for some downside, okay? Now, let's take a look into the daily time frame. I don't think there's anything significant on the daily time frame to really talk about here. So let's come back here to the 3-day time frame. Or the 3-day time frame, the 3-day 200 SMA, the orange line here is currently about 88,000. That's pretty in line with the monthly 21 SMA. Both of these moving averages are going to be very important to be paying attention to because Bitcoin has not hit these moving averages on this trend, okay? So I do expect them to be pretty strong support, okay? So that is a very potential bottom that I am looking at because for that reason. Now let's go ahead and take a look into some news, right? Before diving into the altcoins. This one's by Coinpedia. Crypto markets in focus. Can the next 45 days trigger a rally? I don't think it's impossible. If you guys actually take a look back into April, right? Remember April where we thought it was kind of the end of the world? when Bitcoin fell all the way back down to about 78,000. However, just take a look into the bounce here, okay? This was back in April the 7th, and from April the 7th to about May 19th, it went from about 78,000 to about 110,000. From basically when everyone thought it was over, and just look at that bounce just in about a month's time frame. Could we do something similar? I don't doubt it, okay? But like I said, these are just my opinions. It's just what I'm personally doing. I've seen quite a few crashes in my 5+ years of trading, coming up 6 years now. So that's what I'm betting on, okay? But that's just what I'm doing personally. Just my opinions, not financial advice. You guys gotta form your own opinions and strategies. Alright, next is by ZY Crypto. No, sorry. Yeah, so let's just come back to the next piece here. ZY Crypto, institutional crypto confidence remains strong as 55% expect short-term uptake, says banking survey. So if you guys want to take a look more into this piece of news here, you guys can. I'm just gonna react to the headlines here. I do agree. Yet I think that's a very possible chance that Bitcoin bounces soon. Next piece here is by News BTC. Bitcoin price correction could last until mid-2026. Here's how. So I always like to hear what the other side has to say and see if they make sense. It's a good way to also reality check myself. But I don't think it's gonna last that long. If you guys want to read more into this piece of news here, you guys can. It's gonna be pretty long, but I don't agree with this because we're very close to a very potential bottom, like I said. Alright, next one is by You Today. I will buy more Bitcoin. Robert Kiyosaki shares conditions to stack Bitcoin. Okay, so this is coming from a real estate guy. Very successful guy. I am a fan. I liked a lot of what he has to say. I think he's a very smart investor. So, if you guys want to read more about what he has to say, it is in TradingView. I do have an affiliate link in the video description section below. If you guys don't have TradingView, you guys definitely need to get TradingView if you guys want to be in trading for the long term. Okay, they have free plans available. If you guys upgrade to a paid plan, I will get a commission. All right, let's come back here to altcoins. Oh, sorry. Let's go ahead and read some viewer comments here. Okay, so this is going to be important as well. This is the CME Watch tool. If you guys want to watch, this was a major argument in my bullish argument why this bull cycle is still on, even though it looks like the chances of a rate cut in the December FOMC meeting has decreased to under 50%. However, these probabilities do change, and even if we take a pause in December, I'm not sure if we're going to take, I don't think we're going to take as long a pause as we have seen in 2025 because of the deteriorating job market. That is just what I think. Let's go ahead and go to viewer comments. Okay, so we don't really have too many viewer comments for the past couple of days because the market has been going down, and then when the market goes down, so does viewership. So I see a lot of thank yous. Please more on SNX. I will do some more on SNX. Telcoin gets listed on Uphold as a major crypto exchange tomorrow. Okay, so a major crypto exchange tomorrow. That's good to know. Thanks for sharing your insights. Telcoin just got licensed for bank approval in Nebraska. Okay, that's good insights. Next one says, really appreciate the clear explanation of both bullish and bearish patterns across Bitcoin and alts. Love the cautious optimism, pointing out the falling wedge and RSI divergence. While still watching for invalidation is key for those reading, don't treat breakouts as a guarantee. Absolutely. Breakouts are not guarantees. Price targets are not guarantees. Nothing in this market is a guarantee, but if you view them as probabilities, as a way to get an edge, you're going to be able to live in this market a lot better. Okay, just weigh things in terms of probabilities. Okay, that way you will have an answer for the downside. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. Bull run is over. There's no alt season either because the dominance will not fall. Too many people holding in ETFs. So everyone has their own opinions, but you know my opinion right now. I still don't think the bull run is over, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Let's come back here to altcoin setups. Let's take a look into ANKR Network. Currently trading about 0.9 cents. ANKR Network, very important to be paying attention to this weekly candle close. And why? Why is because it has been running within this falling wedge pattern. It has been staying on top of this bottom trend line at this falling wedge pattern, despite that huge crash a couple weeks ago. As you guys can see, weekly candle closers are still above this bottom trend line. However, it is the bulls, the ANKR bulls, are fighting for its life right now. And this is why. Because if the bulls actually get a weekly candle close underneath this bottom trend line here, let's see if this falling wedge pattern is still valid. It will still technically be valid, okay, because the highest time frame for this falling wedge pattern to be validated on is the monthly time frame, okay? We still have almost 3 candles touching the upper trend line, which validates a upward trend line, which validates a trend line. Now, we don't have exactly 3 candles touching, but I think that's close enough. That's just my opinion. And as of last month's monthly candle close, it's very close to call, but I would still say that it's still above the upward trend line. The highest time frame for this pattern to be validated on is the monthly time frame, so it still has a lot of time to validate. To continue validating this falling wedge pattern. Okay. However, let's zoom in a little bit. This is the daily time frame. Rising wedge pattern. ANKR needs to break out of this pattern, otherwise, breakdown target, let's just say if it breaks down by this point, for example, would be about 0.5 cents price targets. Okay. So let's see what ANKR does. Let's go ahead and go to Moodeng and see what's happening with Moodeng. Weekly time frame. Falling wedge pattern. Still valid. If it breaks out by this point, for example, price target would be about 37 cents. Now, it's important to note that I may have invalidated some of these patterns on some of these charts here because either their price targets have been met or they have broken down and invalidated the previous patterns. Let's take a look into daily time frame. There is a double bottom pattern with bullish divergence. So you got 2 bullish indicators flashing, right? You got your bullish pattern and then you got your bullish divergence. Let's see if this plays out, okay? Neckline of this double bottom pattern is going to be about 11 cents. Price target is going to be about 14 cents. Double bottoms are bullish patterns that have a higher chance of breaking to the upside. Also have to mind the downside risk because I've seen double bottoms break down as well and bullish divergence get invalidated. Let's take a look into PEAQ Network. PEAQ Network here, weekly time frame, falling wedge pattern, still valid despite the current weekly candle trying to close below that upper trend line of the pattern it broke out from. If it does, I think that would invalidate this breakout. Yeah, that would invalidate this breakout. All right, let me see even on the 2 weeks time frame, which is not a time frame I usually check. Yeah, that's not validated on the 2 weeks time frame. Weekly time frame. Okay, weekly time frame. If PEAQ Network actually closes below this upward trend line on this weekly time frame, that would invalidate this breakout. So very important to be watching for this weekly candle close. Now it did break out, okay, back on the week of September 8th. price target is about 27 cents. Okay, let's see if it gets there. Let's see if this breakout stays alive. Let's zoom in. Daily time frame. Falling wedge pattern. Bullish divergence. Let's see if it plays out. If it breaks out by this point, for example, price target would be about 12 cents. That's basically it for PEAQ Network, Moodeng, ANKR Network Token. Let's see. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of these coins or any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request due for you guys on a daily basis, and I'll see you on the next one.